Water. Earth. Fire. Air. Long ago, the four nations lived together in harmony. Then, everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. Only the Avatar, master of all four elements, could stop them. But when the world needed him most, he vanished. 100 years passed, and my brother Sokka and I discovered the new Avatar, an airbender named Aang. Although his airbending skills were great, he had a lot to learn before he was ready to save anyone. But from the day I first met him, I believed Aang would save the world. And you know what? I was right. With the help of his friends, Aang defeated Fire Lord Ozai and ended the 100-Year War. Zuko, Ozai's son and our ally, became the new Fire Lord. But although the battle has ended, the fight has only begun.
It took nearly a year of rest to recover my health. In that time, I was haunted by the same fitful dream every night. Only it wasn't a dream. It really happened, and I can never forget.
Prince Zuko, you have shown yourself to be unworthy of the crown and unfit to stand upon the land of our noble ancestors.
Nephew, please, you aren't well.
You are therefore stripped of your birthright and banished from the Fire Nation until you can prove your worth.
I'll decide if I'm well or not!
An Agni Kai duel? You're sure? But he's barely more than a child.
The Fire Lord challenged him. He couldn't very well refuse.
Can you imagine? Disowned and shamed in front of the entire courts? It seems so cruel.
Shh, don't let the guards hear you talking like that.
Has he ever even been outside the Fire Nation? Or the capital?
He won't last a month in the colonies.
That poor boy. I know we should trust in the Fire Lord's wisdom. But how could anyone do such a thing to their own son?
Father!
Hello, Zuzu.
What are you doing here, Azula?
I thought I'd help my dear brother pack. I wouldn't want you to forget anything important. After all, who knows how long you'll be gone.
I'll be back as soon as I find the Avatar. Then Father will welcome me home.
Well, I suppose the Avatar's only been missing for 100 years. Maybe you'll track him down in 50.
I'll find him. You'll see.
Of course you will. I'm sure that when they march you down to the docks, you'll be able to bribe some fishermen into giving you a ride. Maybe they'll even give you a job washing down the deck. I've heard that peasants have a soft spot for orphans.
Get out!
The guards will be here to get you in an hour. Better finish packing.
Are none of you brave enough to join my search for the Avatar? The Fire Lord himself sent me on this quest. You should be honored to be asked to join me.
Quest? More like a fool's errand.
The Avatar's long dead, kid. You'd be better off hiding out in the colonies.
I am honor-bound to bring the Avatar to my father! I will not turn my back on the task he's given to me!
We aren't heartless, son. We'd help you if we could. But if we sail with the banished prince, We're as good as banished ourselves.
When I regain my honor, all who helped me will serve in the royal court by my side. Your bravery will be rewarded.
Nothing brave about lying to yourself. Everyone knows the Avatar's gone. Your own great-grandfather Sozin killed him.
Maybe Ozai is just trying to get rid of you.
You don't know anything! The Avatar is still out there, and I will find him! I'll show all of you how wrong you are!
All right, kid, I think that's enough recruiting for one night.
Don't touch me, you filthy peasant! Don't you know who I am? I'm the Prince of the Fire Nation, son of Ursa and Ozai, and heir to the throne!
Yesterday, maybe. Not anymore.
You can't treat me this way! I'm the Prince of the Fire Nation. I had never been so ashamed. And I had never been so alone.
You will learn respect, and suffering will be your teacher.
No! Please, Father, I beg of you!
Only the weak beg. I will not have a coward for a son.
Zuko. You look terrible. I got your message, along with half the palace staff. Hardly subtle talking to an Imperial guard that way. I'm risking a lot to come and speak to you.
I wouldn't have asked if I had any choice.
So what do you want?
I can't stay in the capital. I have to leave to find the Avatar. But I don't have a ship or any way to hire one. And I thought, Father's always preferred you. You can ask for things that I can't.
I'll see what I can do, but you'll have to pay for any favors.
I know.
You should change those bandages more often. You'll lose that eye otherwise.
Azula sent me a message the next day. She told me she'd spoken to Father and convinced him to recommission a ship for me to use. But there was one condition.
Nephew!
Ever since he abandoned the siege of Ba Sing Se, Uncle Iroh had been nothing but a nuisance at the palace and an embarrassment to the court. I was the only one in our family who still spoke to him.
It is good to see you again. I was worried.
And now, to earn this favor from my father, I would have to take him with me. Uncle, I'm fine!
Of course, of course. Now, come. The others are waiting on us.
Others?
I may no longer be a general, but the Dragon of the West still has some pull. Lieutenant G served with me at Ba Sing Se, and has made all the arrangements for the rest of the crew. Loyal, honest men whose fortunes no longer lie here in the capital.
A crew of failures, then.
I prefer to see myself as a man in search of new beginnings. And so should you, Prince Zuko.
I'm in search of the Avatar. That's all that matters.
If one is cooped up in the palace for too long, one's spirit becomes withered and weak. The fresh ocean air will do us both a world of good.
I know I should have been grateful. I could never have put a crew together on my own. But I hated how badly I needed his help. My father called Uncle a doddering old failure, but G and his men treated him like a hero. They acted like I wasn't even there. I swore that I'd show them that I was worth noticing. I would prove that I could do this on my own. My ship departed with little fanfare, and as we passed the great gates of Azulon and left the city behind us, I tried not to think about how long it would be before I saw it again. Or if I ever would. Lieutenant! Set a course for the Western Air Temple! That's where we'll start.
What a stunning view!
The only view I'm interested in seeing is the Avatar in chains. First, we'll check each of the air temples, then we'll scour the world, searching even the most remote locations until we find him.
Prince Zuko, it's only been a week since your banishment. You should take some time to heal and rest.
What else would I expect to hear from the laziest man in the Fire Nation? The only way to regain my honor is to find the Avatar. So I will.
I will not presume to tell you how to conduct your search, nephew. But you were told very little about the Avatar when you were a boy. Perhaps if you knew more about the lives he has already led, you would have a clear picture of what you are searching for.
How many 100-year-old airbenders do you think there are? I know enough.
The previous Avatar, Roku, lived at the Fire Temple on Crescent Island for several years. The sages there know more about him than anyone else in the world.
That island is wicks off course!
But going may save you years of fruitless effort. It cannot hurt to ask.
Fine. If it'll keep you from nagging me.
I only nag because I care, nephew.
My name is Shu. I'm sorry that the great sage wasn't able to greet you himself, but I would be honored to help you learn about the Avatar. My own grandfather, Kaja, was a fire sage who taught Avatar Roku during his stay in this temple. He kept careful records of Roku's life and work, from the day he was announced to the day he died. It was once a duty of the fire sages to preserve the history of the Avatar cycle. The scrolls in our archives go back thousands of years. I spend as much time as I can spare in this library, recopying the scrolls as they deteriorate so that the knowledge within them will survive. You can use my desk while you're here. We haven't had an Avatar scholar visit in decades, at least.
It wasn't a complete waste of time. Some of what I found in that library could even be called useful. Avatar Yang Chen built a hermitage near the Eastern Air Temple and spent her later years there in seclusion. Avatar Kyoshi lived for 230 years, much older than the current Avatar would be. Most valuable of all were the tests, ways you could tell for sure if someone was the Avatar or not. But the majority of it was dry, dusty knowledge about people who had died hundreds of years ago, wars and treaties between kingdoms that no longer existed, endless lists of births and deaths and marriages. The rest was outdated philosophy about keeping the nations in balance and maintaining a connection with the spirit world. Dull at best and outright traitorous at worst. My mind wandered. Impressive. I demand that you teach me to fight like that.
You demand? You are in no position to demand anything, Prince Zuko. Fire Lord Ozai banished you from the Fire Nation, and we will honor his will above all else. Shu convinced me to take pity on you, so I have tolerated your dishonored presence for this long. But I will not tolerate interruption of our duties. Besides, you've already been marked by a fire-bending master. You don't need another reminder of your weakness.
I was tired of pity and tired of being taken care of. Tired of living in the shadow of my sister. Tired of being a disappointment to my father. I wanted so badly to be strong.
Nephew, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I believe Fire Sage Shu is looking for you.
You didn't have to do that! I would have been fine!
The wounds have not entirely healed. Now is not the time to push yourself in this way. Be patient, Prince Zuko. When you are ready, I will teach you the more advanced fire-bending forms myself.
I don't want to learn anything from you! I've had enough of this place.
It's Zuko.
We leave before sunset. Inform the crew.
Hey, check this out. After you do, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to help us make more episodes, please share the video around and consider supporting us on Patreon. Now, on with the show.
I don't know how I can be more plain with you, Your Highness. The Fire Nation has controlled this area for decades. My men have been over every inch of that temple. If there was anything to find, we'd have found it.
Just to say, I believe Prince Zuko would like to see for himself. Perhaps if you would loan us your maps, we could conduct our own search and be out of your way that much more quickly.
And risk losing the Fire Lord's good favor? Tempting, but no. If your nephew insists on crashing around in my forest, he'll have to do it without my help. The Fire Festival begins tonight. Why don't you amuse yourselves there instead of wasting your time with ghosts?
The celebrations here in the colonies are very different than what you are used to, Prince Zuko. The fireflakes aren't quite as good, but there's dancing, and I think you might enjoy.
Go by yourself! I don't have time for stupid peasant holidays! I'm looking for a man in a red mask.
Son, this is the Fire Festival. I've seen a lot of men like that today.
He'd be carrying a bag. He fights with two swords.
Oh, you mean the Red Spirit?
The what?
He's something of a legend around here. I probably shouldn't be saying this to an out-of-towner, but Commander Kongu doesn't always make things easy for us. He hoards all the food and medicine for his soldiers, forces our boys in a uniform, and sends them off to the front.
But the Red Spirit helps make it all bearable. He steals supplies and leaves them on our doorsteps. He hassles the soldiers who try to come to take our children away.
Just little things, really. But it's good to know the spirits are watching out for us.
He's not a spirit! He's just a thief in a mask!
I suppose we can't expect outsiders to understand.
Uncle, I need to talk to you.
Shh! It's just getting to the good part.
But...
Nephew, it is important to pay proper respect to the odds. Whatever it is can wait until the play is over.
Stand in formation, men! For the Earth Kingdom! Hold your ground!
Your time is up, Wukong!
Ba Sing Se will never fall! Something about that actor was strangely familiar. I couldn't quite figure out what.
Son Wukong! You may have defeated my Earthbender, Son Wukong, but you will never defeat the impenetrable walls of Ba Sing Se!
No need, Your Majesty. When you so kindly throw open the gates. Many thanks for welcoming me into your great city. It will make an excellent gift for the Fire Lord.
Let's go! That was awesome!
It's him.
If you, didn't you?
I'll meet you back at the ship.
If you want an autograph, you'll have to wait for tomorrow night's performance. I'm a little busy right now.
Don't pretend you don't know who I am.
And if I did?
Return what you stole from my ship.
Can't, I'm afraid. I don't generally steal things without a good reason.
Your problems aren't my concern.
I think maybe they are. Someone like Konku probably gave that to you, right?
You don't know what you're talking about!
A scar like that takes something away from you. I get it. Konku's taken something from me. Something a lot harder to replace than anything I've lifted from your armory. Look, kid, I'm not a bad guy. Help me out tonight and I'll find a way to make it up to you.
I don't need anything from you.
But maybe you need something from Konku. The name's Song Shin. Come on, you don't have a lot of time.
All right. I can't believe I'm doing this. Those are my explosives.
You can be the one to light them if it makes you feel better.
An explosion near the southeast corner.
Sir, it's the Red Spirit.
And another, a blue one. What are you, children? Stop them both!
Why don't you just fire them?
That's what anyone would ask. Why would a mighty firebender ever resort to swords? And of course, that's why no one ever suspects me.
I need a raise.
Little help?
How many of those did you steal?
Enough. The map room is down that way. Second door on the left. We'll get out of here faster if we split up to find what we came for. Be back in 5 minutes or I'll assume Konku snatched you. Shall we get on our way? We have to leave town quickly. It won't be long before Konku figures out what happened and tracks us down.
What does he want with a little kid?
Konku's after me, not my son. You know how few firebenders there are around these parts. So Konku's rewarded for every one of us he can draft into service. But I wouldn't go. My wife died when Zen was born, so I'm the only family he has. I couldn't just leave him behind like that. Konku took Zen and tried to force my hand.
It's the duty of all Fire Nation citizens to serve their country.
Maybe, but family is the most important thing. You'll understand one day when you have kids of your own. I'd do anything for Zen. And besides, let's say I did march off to the front lines, eh? What would I even be fighting for? This war has ruined whole generations of kids just like you. Broken families apart. Fire Nation families. It makes you wonder, what's the point of conquest when you're throwing your own people away to do it?
Maybe, but we don't know everything. We just have to trust that that the Fire Lord knows what's best.
The Fire Lord should know better than to take kids like you away from their families. You shouldn't be serving on a broken down ship at some outpost no one cares about anymore. Someone your age shouldn't have a scar like that. What kind of Fire Lord lets these things happen?
What do you know about the Fire Nation? You're a thief and a coward and a traitor! A stupid, ungrateful colonist who doesn't deserve everything the Fire Lord's done for you! I should turn you over to Commander Konku right now! I should! I couldn't believe what I'd almost done. what I would have done if I'd stayed there any longer. I had wanted to hurt him for saying those things. I had wanted to scorch that smile from his face. I felt like my stomach was full of fire, but it would burn me up from the inside out. I almost wished that it would.
Zuko! Zuko! Prince Zuko, I understand that your search for the Avatar is very important to you. But I am worried that all of this is too much, too soon. Your skin may nearly have healed, but there are other wounds that cannot be seen, and they need more time to mend. Right now, you are a danger to yourself, your crew, and everyone around you. I understand that this is not the life you wanted for yourself, but it is still your life. Please, nephew, do not throw it away.
How can you sit there and say this stuff to me? You're the Dragon of the West! Your army was the first to break through the walls of Ba Sing Se! And you threw it all away for what? I was just a kid then, but I know what happened! The Earthbenders killed your son, Lieutenant, and you couldn't handle it! You just gave up and came home and hid in the palace like a cowardly old fool! You were supposed to be Fire Lord, but my father was stronger and my grandfather knew it, so they took that away from you too, and you let them! You gave up on your duty and your throne, so why should I listen to anything you say? You keep telling me you want to help, but that's not true, is it? You don't want me to find the Avatar. You don't want me to get my honor back. You blew your own chances, and now you want me to be a failure too. Well, I'm not giving up!
Thank you for helping me find my son. I hope you find what you're looking for someday as well.
Weeks passed. Uncle acted like nothing had happened. But I could feel that things were different. He didn't offer any more advice. All we talked about was business, the ship, the crew, firebending practice. I think, maybe, that it would have been easier if he'd been angry. He smiled at me, and I didn't know what to say. It wasn't long before winter came.
There's a trail that leads from Yanu Bay up into the foothills. From there, I'll have to forge my own path through the mountains to the Eastern Air Temple itself. I'll go alone. Taking the crew along would just slow me down.
Perhaps I could join you, Prince Zuko. The landscape here is renowned for its beauty.
Fine. But I won't wait up if you can't keep pace.
We set out at sunrise every morning. And when the moon was out, we walked late into the night.
If you keep stopping to look at every plant on the mountain, we'll be out here all winter!
I cannot miss a chance at such exquisite jasmine blossoms, nephew. They will make an excellent tea.
Maybe a part of me was glad that Uncle kept slowing us down. The air was too thin for me to catch my breath. Every joint and muscle in my body ached. I'd never been so cold or so tired in my life. When we finally reached the Eastern Air Temple, it was completely abandoned. But I remembered what I'd read at the Fire Temple about the hermitage that Avatar Yang Chen had built on the next ridge. I'd come too far already to leave without searching there as well.
Who's there?
A generation has passed since the last pilgrims came to this place. I would not have expected a firebender to be my first visitor in so long.
What are you doing here?
The air nomads and I were spiritual brothers. We have always shared close ties.
Air nomads? You knew them?
Of course. And I know them still. Your forefathers may have taken their bodies from this world, but something of their spirit remains. These walls echo with the memory of what has passed.
In that moment, it all made sense. He was the right age. He was living in the ruins of an air nomad's hermitage on an island the rest of the world had forgotten. He could have hidden here for a century without anyone ever finding him. I looked at him, and I saw my way back home again.
My name is Patik. I am the one...
Avatar!
What was in those jasmine leaves?
Grab him, Uncle!
So sorry, but you seem to have mistaken me for someone else.
Who?
Either help me or get out of the way!
You will drive him up the mountainside.
Good! Maybe then I can force him to airbend!
What? Nephew!
Now, you will airbend for me!
I am afraid that will not be possible, child. I have learned a great many things in my time on this world, but airbending is not one of them.
You're lying! Uncle, get the test ready! Once we've confirmed that he's the Avatar, we'll send word to the camp at Yanu Bay and...
There will be no test, Prince Zuko.
It won't even hurt him! All we have to do is see if the elements respond to him, and then we can...
No. We've done too much already.
But...
Our apologies, Your Reverence.
Uncle!
Please forgive the disrespect we have shown you today.
No apology is necessary, my friend. I am only sorry I could not be of help. If your nephew seeks the Avatar, then he walks a difficult road, the end of which remains opaque, even to myself. He is fortunate to have you as his guide.
How could you let him get away like that? It'll take weeks to find him again! I could have been home by spring, but you...
Enough! He was obviously not the Avatar, nor even an air nomad. All you have accomplished today is harassing an innocent man, disrespecting a venerated elder, and dishonoring yourself by doing so. It is behavior unbecoming of a prince, and I will not stand for it.
But... if it isn't him, then... Uncle, I don't even know where to look anymore. The world's just so big, and He knew the airbenders, and not even he could tell me where the Avatar went.
Zuko, I understand how hard these months have been for you. You lost your family and your home in the space of a few days. You have been charged with a task men twice your age would cower from. I am sorry that I could not stand in the face of these things. I wish that I could have given you more than a crew and an old man's companionship. When Lu Ten died, I felt as if my own life had ended. It It took all the strength I had to wake up each morning, to get out of bed and go out into a world in which my son no longer lived. You are stronger than I have ever been, Prince Zuko. You have struggled for all the things that were given to me. I lay down before my own grief, but you fought through a wilderness unlike any I have ever had to face. But now, as you stand before the life that has been handed to you, I want you to take care of yourself and of the world as you move through it. I trust that you will learn in time how to balance the strength of your will against the needs of your spirit. I trust that you will find your own path, though it may not always take the shape that you expect.
Uncle, what if they're right? What if the Avatar really is gone? What if this search really is pointless? What if there's no way for me to go home again?
A journey of self-discovery is never pointless, Prince Zuko. However dim your path may seem, and however far you may wander from it, the important thing is that you learn from all your mistakes along the way, and never forget for one moment who you are, or what you are struggling to be. I think perhaps that it's time I taught you about the breath of fire.
The what?
I invented it myself when I was still a colonel, serving my first winter on the front. It is based on the teachings of the ancient Sun Warriors. They were the original firebenders, from a time before we became disconnected from the source of our power. Fire is a weapon, but it is also the life-giving warmth of the sun. The warmth that burns inside every heart. By concentrating on that inner fire, you can control it. Stroke the flames and warm yourself from within, chasing away any chill of the air or of the spirit.
I didn't know what to say to him then, standing on that mountainside, so far away from my home. But I knew that he'd been wrong about one thing. I still had a family. You, what are you doing here?
I have been meditating these past few hours. I had sensed that you were brought before me for a reason, but I could not see what it was. I hoped that the spirit of Avatar Yang Chen would guide my own path before you had wandered too far. I realize now that your destiny and the Avatars are closely entwined. Though I am not yet certain how this could be, it is not my place to stand in the way of fate. The vision Yang Chen gave me was only a shadow, as such things often are. But the heart of it was very clear. I saw you and the Avatar standing side by side before the world.
My uncle has asked that I show you respect. But I won't stand here and be mocked.
As you wish, child.
He's just a crazy old man. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
I believe him. And so should you, Prince Zuko. Our inner fire is the spark of hope that drives us through even the darkest times. Do not be so quick to dismiss it. Now, we have a long day ahead of us. It's time that both of us got some rest.
I will find you. Months passed without dreams of the Agni Kai or my father. My life began to find a new rhythm. But then, as suddenly as it always does, everything changed. Finally. Nightmares and daydreams. Visions of the past encroaching on my future. I wonder, if I find her, will my soul finally be at peace?